Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com, and I want to talk about having a meetup. And uh, I find it odd how so many communities haven't taken steps to organize. And but then again, I've had calls from communities that have organized, and this will apply to them. But what it is, uh, we we're doing weekly meetings here where I'm at now, and they used to have them. And this is where I came up with all these ideas when the three-man militia stuff was through the meetings. People would ask questions, and then we'd have to come up with things, and we had a lot of fun. We learned a lot of things, gardening, radio, let's see, knives. On some of the meetings, we would have a guest speaker come in, and they would talk about something that we all kind of interested in. And then, as we're together, then we get to figure out who in the crowd that wants to do this stuff, and then we start a three-man militia and learn whichever kind of substance that we're talking about. That's what we figure on. And when we have our meetings, they're like show and tell. Like we would have a battle gear meeting. In this particular meeting, we talked about battle gear. And so then people would bring and put on whatever kind of gear they thought would be appropriate for them. And then we'd look at them and ask them, what's that for? What's that for? And just all kinds of stuff that's on your vest or whatever. If you've got a backpack, I mean, everybody's got different ideas and different ways of doing it. And so then that's what we learn a lot when we're having these talks. And that's what we used to do. And it always had fire starting, and nursing, leadership, how to, who's in charge? I mean, you have a three-man militia, who's in charge? Well, it depends on what your little group is doing. One of you's got more interest or knowledge about this, whatever you're doing at this present time, that's your leader. So then whoever knows most is the leader at that particular time. And then when you have a series of three-man militias, well, who's leads this, so we talk about all kinds of stuff. And this is what we've been talking about for years. We've been doing this. And so I went to this last meeting, and it's changed. Now, it's easy when you're sitting back and you compare stuff to what you've seen in the movies. And then that's where you gear up and, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do, that's all easy when you compare it to the movies. Now, we've gone through this pandemic, and it's real life things that we see and we talk about. And this has been different. All the other meetings we used to have, everybody was eager to learn and do things. Let's get some radios, and then we'll learn radio communications and just all kinds of cool, fun things. And it's still doing it, but now it's different. And because now we see the writing on the wall. I mean, there's weird things going on. And what is Okay. Look at my camera. My camera looks funny. The time on it. But anyway, uh, um, this one was different. For one thing, I was going to come earlier, and they said they were doing social distancing. And I thought, boy, that's odd, so, and now it's basically the same people, plus we had more, and we're talking, and there was a lot of things that were brought up that we never talked about before. And the reason is we see something is brewing, and it's getting worse as time goes on. And one of these things, well, one said, well, he was telling me, he says, it's easy for you to say this stuff, and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. It's easy for you to do that because you're homeless. You don't have nothing. I've got something. And so, and so his mentality is he doesn't want to risk what he has, so he doesn't want to stand out. So I understand. Look at the people that signed the Constitution. They all lost everything. A lot of them were killed. Their families were killed, brutally tortured, and I think just about all of them lost everything. So, I understand. You don't want to risk your fortunes, So, and we don't come to these meetings to ridicule, but we have to know where you stand, what you're thinking, and how that works. So that was one of the things. And then we had another guy said that, well, it's right back to me, and I like him, use me for an example. And he said, well, you're by yourself, it's no big thing, but he says, but me, I'm responsible for my wife. And so then I kind of lost my cools. And so then I mentioned in Vietnam, I was out in the jungle, and then I had another guy come out in the jungle. I think we came out about the same time. And then he was pulled back and worked in supply. And I said, well, what's going on? What happened? Was he sick, have some kind of weird disease or something like that? And I said, no, he's married and he's got 2 children. And I said, okay, so helping me understand this. Okay, he's married and got children, so his life is more valuable than my life. I want to have a wife and a couple kids, but it's okay to put my life on the line because I don't have it. So in other words, my life isn't as valuable as their life. So, I got confused. That's something that it just doesn't make sense to me. But they're the ones that made the rules. So, and so this is what it came across to this guy. Well, he's got a wife to take care of, so he doesn't want to do anything that would put her safety in jeopardy. He's the provider and stuff like that. And I thought, well, now wait a minute. Okay, so if you can't provide, then she's going to be just going into nothing. She can't take care of herself, stuff like that. So then, yeah, I think you're right. Your life would be more valuable than my life. It's okay. And now remember, my position is meet and greet. I'm the one that's going to be having to look everybody in the eyes. I'm the one that's going to be face to face, in arm's reach with anything that happens. So the chances of me surviving or getting hurt is, I don't have good odds. But it's okay because I don't have a wife that depends on me. So, I mean, and then we had another one. And it was the kind of like on the Patriot. It was like that. And he's got 3 daughters and a wife. And now, but he was different. He says, my wife and 3 daughters are very important to me. I am everything to them. But I've taught them and I've helped them learn things, skills to take care of themselves and to do this type of stuff. And if I didn't have my country, I don't even know if I'd have my family. So, unlike the thing in Patriots, he was saying, well, he can't do that because he's got 6 kids and no wife. And so everyone looks at this differently. And I'm sure we're going to lose some people in the group. But it helped everybody think. I say, if you are materialistic and think your stuff is more important than the country, and your stuff is in jeopardy, I wouldn't doubt if you're going to be pointing fingers. So this is the stuff that you may think are your strengths could be your weaknesses. And the things that may be your weaknesses could be your strengths. Whatever it is, you need to get your priorities straight. And a good place to do it is in these meetings. Because what we're talking about, nothing is immoral, nothing is unconstitutional. And we're just talking, everybody's making suggestions, everybody's asking questions, and nobody's in judgment of somebody else, and nobody is making anybody do anything. But it sure is nice when you have a place to go to ask questions, see what things are all about, what kind of plans you have to take care of it, or if you have a plan, or if you don't. Just like I say, there's no mistakes you can make when you come to these meetings. About the only mistake you're going to make is when you don't talk, you don't share. And everybody gets kind of weird when you have that person in the group that doesn't talk, doesn't do any of this stuff. Those people kind of make you a little uncomfortable anyway. But like I say, we're not doing anything illegal or anything bad. We're just, well, I guess it would be illegal. I don't know. Like I say, I've been to Cuba. I think 3 people was the biggest group you can have. And I think in China, I think 3 or 4 was the biggest group you can have. So we had more than that. So that might be something that might be illegal, but I don't know. But anyway, this is the way we can talk with each other, communicate with each other, who is in the community, and also in the next community. What is the next community doing? We might learn something from the next community. And these are all civilians. We're not talking, elected officials and stuff. Now, once you get coordinated and you start getting going, it might be a good idea to go to the sheriff and introduce yourself to the sheriff. After all, the sheriff is an elected. So when he's elected, he looks at things different than a police chief. Police chief doesn't give a damn. He's just doing what he was told. But the sheriff really has to do constitutional stuff. And if it's constitutional and it's moral, it's probably the right thing. And so it might be easier with the sheriff when you do it. But I wouldn't even worry about it until, like I say, once you get some kind of organization going. But there are things we can be doing now, and we need to think about it and take action now. Because I am thinking in the next few months, all of us strong individuals will be needing help. And right now, I'm learned that there's a lot of people that are pulling back, and they just want to take care of their own household and let everything else go to hell. And it's really kind of spooky. And the pressure hadn't even been put on yet. It's going to get much worse. So now's the time to find out where people stand. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.